Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
So, guys, in case you want to learn more about us and the other things that we do, it's evolutionaryenergyarts.com. There are links on every video. And also, look over here. Like if you're on Evolutionary here on YouTube, you could click that and it takes you right to the website. That takes you to Patreon, Ko-Fi. This takes you to EEARTS, and this takes you to Arts Home. How easy is that?
Hooray!
Hey, I did something, right?
Yay!
Well, it seems a consensus that I was reading the comments on the last video and talking about my dad being so quiet, and they said, well, I guess you're making up for your dad then, aren't you?
You do have a very wonderful gift of gab.
That's what somebody said, and thank you for putting it so gently and nicely. Check this video out. Our brother Joe had sent me to this earlier, and we didn't get to share it yet. Look at these actions here. This is showing a bodyguard in action, or security person. The hero, as this is written, who kicked an explosive device away from the Japanese Prime Minister last week, shielding him with his own body. Look at those reaction skills.
Definitely.
So we had said, watch them announce that this major thing was going to be that it was regarding a secret Chinese police station, and it was. 2 New York residents arrested for running secret Chinese police stations, significant national security matter. Justice Department calls alleged activity in New York City a significant national security matter. The interesting thing is, though, in seeing how people are talking about this, it's like the normalization of things, because you'll see people say, yeah, but aren't they everywhere? That doesn't make it right. Yeah, they are probably everywhere now. Unfortunately, they're not in just the U.S., and they're in multiple locations in the U.S. They're throughout the world. This is like blinking neon lights saying, hey, everybody, we're all living in China.
Well, the frustration that comes is because who opened the door to them in the first place? It's like the wolf is watching the hen house, and as if nobody can see it. And that's my frustration. It's like there's somebody simply allowing this to happen.
Yeah, well, the problem is there's sly little foxes in Casablanca, and it's not really surprising. I mean, I think we can picture the bigger picture when we look at choice of drinks. I mean, come on, this goes in line with what we were talking about with the KGB guy from 1983. By the way, massive lines of military-age men from China are lining up in Panama, headed for the U.S., open southern border. Oh, they want political freedom, guys. They want political freedom. They're all military age. They're coming in from China. They just want to escape the oppressive CCP regime. Yeah, how many of them are actually working for the CCP regime? Again, the U.S. and our NATO, quote-unquote, allies, we've been infiltrated big time. Nostradamus talked about, he talked about an infiltration. He was talking about Europe that would send ahead clever men without laws, and they would blow up certain cities, and some of them they'd blow up twice. So, again, this is an infiltration. These guys, are they all just looking for economic opportunity? I'm sure they got good bonuses lined up. Maybe they've been told, hey, get through with this mission, guys. Everybody gets, remember, 40 acres and a mule? Well, everybody gets a house somewhere on the Florida Gulf Coast.
I know, it's not looking too good there.
It's like, it's so in our face and so obvious. How could you not see this coming? Where do people have their heads? Please be very cautious in your description of that.
Please.
Yes. Meanwhile, U.S. Navy warships sailed through the contested waters separating Taiwan and mainland China on Sunday, just days after Beijing concluded week-long war games around the self-ruled independent island. It's close. Again, pray that we all have a little bit more time to brace ourselves for what is coming, because what's coming is going to, unfortunately, I mean, I think it's going to just so shock some people. It's going to be like Orson Welles' War of the Worlds, where you really had people that just couldn't handle it and they thought it was real. Well, this is going to be real, and they might not be able to handle it.
I know. It's not looking good.
No, so we need to ground and root. It's better when you know. Like, if you've been told you're going to have a root canal or get it pulled, and, you're in constant pain, you got to do something. You just got to do something. But when something hits you and you didn't see it coming, then you could be in like a stupor. And especially if you're completely unprepared and you thought everything was just normal, and then all of a sudden you're hit with something that's so major, such a major blow to the reality. This strikes me as really yucky. New Mexico researchers transformed dead birds into drones. Talk about disguising things. Yeah. How would you might just think it's a bird, but it's a drone watching your every move. Or maybe it's got an explosive charge on it. And who knows what it's going to do. Again, nothing would surprise me that would come out of, like DARPA or any of these scientific, quote unquote, endeavors.
Well, no, they already have like things like rats and different animals, even a moth, where they have these chips in them. So when they put it in the moth in like the caterpillar phase, and when it transforms, it's still in the body and it can be remote controlled. So they got some pretty gnarly stuff out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there was a comment about, throwing Buddhism away because of something concerning the Dalai Lama. And, then just saying, turn to, the guy with the big J, right? The J word, who we were talking about. But then again, we can look to almost every single pope in history. We can see atrocities associated with the Catholic Church. We can see, you name it. So we could pick any religion and any tradition and find infiltration and people that are just simply using it to better themselves. That's a given.
Well, there are different cultures and different understandings, but what I'm seeing is that's being utilized in a negative way, and it's just so wrong.
Yeah, and so, here, what do we have? We have Sadhguru, who's given us, he's given a lot of people in the West an introduction to the Sanatana Dharma, but, who is he really, again, and what is his true mission? Well, let's listen.
So in the session we just attended here at the Economic Forum, I think there was a sense of relief, actually, in your frankness. You brought up some issues that others are reluctant
to bring
up.
Always. All the religious groups are against me because I'm talking about population. They want more souls. I want less on the planet.
Yeah, that says it all, and yeah, where is he? Yeah, he's a member of the few. Again, the infiltration is so complete. Everything that is good is distorted. Everything that is light, it gets turned to darkness.
Well, they do their best anyway.
They really try. They do. They put a lot out there. Major fire is raging in Tyumen, and this is in Siberia. This is the city known as Russia's oil and gas capital. As we see, it's burning quite a bit. Locals say grass, komishi, and swamps are also on fire. Again, another act of covert agents, perhaps, that are everywhere. And the thing is, it might appear that it's like, the U.S. making a strike or Ukraine making a strike. The reality is, it's the controllers making strikes on all of us.
I know. They're at the top of the pyramid, and they're just shuffling people around as needed.
Yep. Control through disorder and division. And you have wildfires along the French-Spanish border that are forcing hundreds to evacuate as well. It's that time of year where we're going to see some of these things happening. And we had 7 fatalities, 6 missing after widespread floods hit Tanzania. And, everywhere we look, it's either you got one thing or another, but you do have an awful lot of flooding going on the planet. Ash produced by major eruption at Shavluch, ground flights in Alaska, and Cindy was picking up again with that Alaskan spiral, the chance for some sort of maybe Alaskan quake, perhaps. And when we talk about quakes, you want to talk about volcanic activity hand in hand because they do go together. What we've been noticing personally is often a big revision in the weather forecasts where out of the blue, like if I'm looking at the weather forecast and it's showing, that every day is going to be in the 80s and maybe here's a dip down to the 70s, like 78, 77. And then a couple days later I look and those 78, 77 are now 67, 68. And like, wait, overnight you're talking about getting down to around 40? That's kind of unusual for this area at this time. And it's also unusual that they can't seem to get it right anymore. Yeah, I mean, the Weather Channel is owned by the Red Shields, the ROTHS Childs. They should know what what's going to be happening, right? Maybe they're not coordinated with HAARP and CERN. I don't know. But we do have another asteroid coming by. It's going to fly by at 0.3 or about a third of a lunar distance. And that's going to be on 18th. This one is somewhere around 20 to 40 feet in diameter. And then we got this. No, that's not the head of a transformer. It does kind of look like it to me, like some sort of robot's head, doesn't it?
I don't know. It's pretty cool looking.
Isn't this cool? Again, there's so many anomalous objects around the world that just don't make sense. This is the rock ship of Masuda, Japan's mysterious monolith. Actually, Japan has multiple mysterious monoliths. Actually, Japan in and of itself feels very anomalous. There's just something about Japan that doesn't seem to fit in with a lot of other areas. It's a real curious area. And, the Ainu of Japan are real curious people. And, that's one of the more fascinating genealogical explorations that you can do to try to see what's really going on this planet. So the village of Asuka is famous for its mysterious stones. Ancient origins of this village date back to the tumulus period known as the Kofun Jedi. This is 3rd century to 538 CE. And so you have, this is obviously something that's been carved with perfect precision. I mean, look at those lines. They're so perfect. Obviously, that doesn't happen in nature. So what is this? Masuda no Iwafune. Literally the rock ship of Masuda. So this is the largest of a group of mysterious rock mounds. It's made of solid granite, which is not easy to carve even in today's technological world. It's 36 feet by 26 feet by 15 feet tall. Weighs about 800 tons as it stands. It's a carved mound with 2 holes each, about a meter square in the ground, right through the center going into the ground. Why? What purpose? It's all very, very mysterious. I swear it looks like a robot's head to me. I can't unsee it in any other way.
It looks like part of a robot to me too, and I don't know what they're teaching now. I'm sure it's something similar, but when you look at the pyramids they taught us in school, these were done with like chisels and hammers. Sure.
Tell me another one. We don't trust the science anymore, guys. We don't buy it. We don't buy it. Then we have this. This is Ishi no Hoden. This is the floating rock of Japan, as it apparently looks like it's floating in place. And again, it's carved. The lines are clear. They're square. I mean, you got 45-degree and 90-degree cuts. What's going on with this? I'll give you guys all the links. So again, there's all sorts of, thoughts. And as you can see, nice perfect little circles in here. What is this? Is this just remnants of Atlantis, or is this remnants of Lemuria Mu? What can you pick up energetically?
Energetically, these look and feel like a landing pad. Some type of landing pad is what is coming up.
A landing pad. Curious. Do you can you get a vibe off of what beings are associated with this?
They feel very authoritarian.
Oh, okay. So are we talking kind of scaly with forked tongues?
I think so. A lot of them, but I don't think all of them. But a lot of these, they feel like whoever landed here, utilizing these, they had to have been made for them before they came to Earth. There was a great amount of understanding and ability to come to, like, these are beings that have done this before on other planets, so they know what they need to do, come to this planet, and they create these are landing pads, and they charge. They charge.
Yeah, granite. We'd have to look into the properties of granite. Its conductivity maybe has something to do with conductivity. Interesting, but I do know if you need a hand, you could always count on your furry friend.
Oh, that would just be super fun. Your friend would always love to help you.
Yes. Don't underestimate the intelligence and also the love of your little furry buddies.
Definitely the love.
As always, guys, thanks for your support on Ko-Fi Patreon. As well, if you need to make an appointment for energy work, Vedic astrology charts, just some spiritual coaching, you could reach out to evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.